All right. Well, welcome everybody. We've got a great one Friday Night Live here with Riman. So we're gonna give you guys some great value tonight. I think everybody when we're done here tonight, you're gonna say to yourself, "Wow, you know what? I really got some great insights, some great information, and really helping you understand how to close out the month strong." Okay, a lot of people are like, I talk to a lot of leaders and like, how are you guys all able to do what you guys are able to do from the standpoint like in the last 72 hours of the month, 48 to 72 hours of the month, we do about 40% of our volume, right? So you want to learn how to do what I'm going to share tonight, okay? And my mentor taught me very early on in my career. He said, Tim, you can make up a month's worth of production in a week. And he said, Tim, you can make up a week's worth of production in a day. And I remember I was brand new. I was 17 at the time. I'd probably been in, it was the end of that first month. So I got started on the 15th. So it was probably around, you know, probably less than 2 weeks in. And I was like, what is this guy talking about? I had no idea what he was talking about. And now I do, right? Now being involved in this profession, it's like, wait a second, there's an art. I don't want to say it's an art, it's a science to closing the month strong, right? And art's something that you can't get. So there's nothing about this industry that's an art, right? If it was, I wouldn't be good at it, right? You know what I mean? Like, because I'm a science guy, right? Meaning you mix this chemical with this chemical, it explodes every time. So what I want to do is I want to dive into this information tonight and really give you some great value. And there's really 7 things that you need to be aware of on how to close the month strong. Okay. And the first thing that you want to be thinking about is you want to stay committed to your goal, right? That's most important. When you set every month, when the month starts off, right? It's kind of, I always look at the month, every month, like a new semester in school, right? I don't know if any of you, yeah, actually, probably a lot of you were really successful in school, not like me. When I would start off a new semester, I'm like, all right, this is the one, right? This is the one I'm going to get it right. And I wouldn't really necessarily set goals when I was in high school, but I would be like, all right, I'm going to do better. And then by like 2 weeks in, I'd be, going back to my loser ways or my not learning how to win yet ways, right? But I share this with you because when we start off the month, we start off with big goals, right? Coming out of conventions, we start off with big goals, right? We make decisions. Hey, we're going to do it, right? And then what happens is as the month progresses, it kind of looks a little bit dim on hitting our goals sometimes, right? And that's what I want to talk about. You want to stay committed to your goal, okay? And here's what I share with you is that set the kind of goals. I love this one, Jim Rohn, right? Set the kind of goals they're going to make something of you to achieve them. Set the kind of goals that are going to make something of you to achieve them. And like I said, you can make up a month worth of production. I talked about how you can make up a week's worth of production in a day, a month's worth in a week. And here's what I love, right? I love this quote by Confucius. And it says, when it's obvious that goals cannot be reached, is good. Don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. That's the key, right? If you're going from point A to point B, and sometimes, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make it on time, right? Sometimes you got to drive a little faster, right? So getting that, getting that fast lane. I call it it's actually called the overtaking lane, right? The overtaking lane is what it's called. Okay. Some people call it the passing lane, but whichever one it is, whether you call it passing lane or overtaking lane, kind of goes hand in hand with our business, right? If you want to pass, you want to pass up people and you want to do your absolute very best, or you want to take over, you know what lane you got to get in, right? So let's talk a little bit about it, okay? Here's what most people think success looks like. You either succeed or fail at something, and there's nothing further from the truth than that, okay? This is why 95% of people don't live the quality of lifestyle they want because they think they fail or succeed. Okay. And the reality is this is what success looks like. You start, you fail, you jump back up, you learn from it, you go again, you fail, and then finally you succeed, right? 7-Up, right? 7-Up, the soda. The guy failed 6 times, but he kept getting back up. You guys, that's a joke. But anyways, you got to jump up 7 times, right? But it's literally what it's about. So obviously everybody's goal, you guys all, I'm going to talk about it a little bit later on. We all know we have a big, major, exciting promotion this month. Anybody that hits manager, anybody that's senior manager this month, if you're a manager already coming into the month, if you hit senior manager this month, bam, you're going to get that new bag. that's hot, right? It's looking like a Trader Joe bag over there. That hot little sexy bag, right? You're getting that. If you hit manager, if you're brand new or you doesn't matter if you've been in for a while and you haven't hit manager yet, bam, you want to hit manager. Everybody wants to hit manager when they first get started. Everybody knows that. So let's talk a little bit about what it looks like. So basically, what happens is you as a planner, you're going to sponsor people into the business personally. Those are called your what? Level one recruits. Okay. So when you sponsor brand new people into the business, and now guess how many people you're allowed to have? In our comp plan, guess what? You can have as many people as you want. How beautiful is that? So it's basically anything that you buy or sell personally, okay? That's going to be called your personal volume, right? And anybody that you personally sponsor, their personal volume, whatever they sell or what? Buy, right? So whatever somebody sells or buys and whatever you sell or buy, you combine that together. And once you hit the goal of 3,000 SPs within 3 consecutive months, so it could be within a week, it could be within a couple days, it could be within a couple whatever, but as long as it's done within 3 consecutive months, right? So basically, doesn't mean you have to do 3,000 3 months in a row. It just means you have to do 3,000 within. You see that word within? That's a big one, right? Within 3 months. So anything that you buy or sell, and plus your level one recruits buy or sell, for that goal of 3,000, you're allowed to count up to 1,500 from one person. Okay, so if one person gets started, and they get started, say you get 5 people started, but one of them does like 3,000 in personal volume, you can count up to 1,500 towards your 3,000. Very easy to understand. Everybody gets it. Okay. We'll break this thing down so you make sure everybody gets it. Senior manager goal. What is that? Right. That's really where you want to go to. Right. Basically, same thing. You and all your level one planners. So it makes it real simple. Like when you look at these qualifications, like comp plans drive behavior. Right. We all know that. If you're new to the profession, I'm telling you right now, comp plans drive behavior. But here's what I want to share with you. What does the company want you to do? Right? It's anything that you buy or sell, and anybody that your level one recruits buy or sell. It's pretty specific what the company wants you to do at manager and planner. Get customers, get customer getters. Boom. Doesn't get any much simpler than that. So it's the same thing at senior manager to get to that position as you, whatever you personally do, whatever you buy or what, sell, and whatever your level one recruits what, buy or sell, combines that number together. And once that number reaches 6,000, you can become a senior manager. How fast can you do it? Fast as you want. I'm going to share with you though, you got to do it within 3 consecutive months, get to 6,000 total. Now you don't have to do it within, May, June, July, but if you do May, June, July, and you don't hit it in July, then it's going to go what? June, July, August until you hit it, right? It's going to keep those 3 months are going to keep rolling with you. Okay. And I'm going to explain it to you today. So don't worry. So here it is. Impending events drive success. What's an impending event? Our Memorial Day, if you live in Canada or US, we have a Memorial Day promotion, right? And guess what? That's an impending event. It's a 1-day sale, right? It's a 1-day promotion. That's an impending event, right? An impending event is anything that's going to drive behavior to take action now, okay? So maybe when you were in high school or college, you had finals or midterms, right? It drove behavior, right? You see what I'm saying? Whoa, wait a second. I got to get my grades up. I got to do this. I got to do that. So it drives behavior. It's an impending event. Okay. Christmas is a what? Impending event. Why? Because if you in our country in America, people get Christmas trees, right? So, whoa, we got to go get a Christmas tree. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So if you're selling Christmas trees in July, you're not doing well. Let's be upfront. Okay. It doesn't matter how fired up and passionate you are about your Christmas trees. Got the best lot in the country. Doesn't matter. Nobody wants it. Why? Because it's July. But right after Thanksgiving, what happens, man? People start selling trees. So an impending event is something that's going to drive behavior. Okay. So I think you guys got the picture. So let's talk about how did the 3 months go? So this month is what? Okay. May. So if you've been in for a while, if you're brand new, you understand it's going to be different. But if you got started in March, April, or May, you combine all the last 3 months, okay, to get to what? Either 3,000 or what? 6,000, okay? Now, if you got started before March, April, May, now once May passes and we're now in June, March volume will fall off, whatever it was. And now it's April, May, June. So it's a rolling 3 months, okay? So I think everybody understands how that works, okay? You get started in May, wrap it up in May. It's easy to, in my opinion, this business is easier to do fast than slow. Say it again. I believe in my heart this business is easier to do fast than slow. Let me explain. Okay. To hit senior manager is going to take each and every one of us a certain amount of activity. Okay. Follow me on this. You're gonna enjoy it. That activity is already predetermined. Your mind right now is blown. What the heck is he talking about? It's predetermined. Before you pick up the phone and invite somebody, they're either open or not already. You guys see that? When you're reaching out to people to take a look at our business, and once you get them, we're going to no matter what show them the business, right? Okay. When I made my list of 100, my mentor told me, he said, Tim, you're going to show all those people the business. Some are going to be hot and want to jump on it now, but guess what? You're showing them all the business. And I go, well, some of them I don't really know that well. He goes, doesn't matter. You're going to follow up until they take a look or they die, right? You're going to be consistent. And so that philosophy is stuck with me, right? Where it's like, I'm going to keep on. Like another buddy of mine, he's had a birthday yesterday. I've been trying to get, obviously recruit him into Riman. He's a big success. And I just said, Brett, I said, oh, I shouldn't have said his name. But anyways, I said, but bro, you're getting old, dude. Like, look at us. We're getting old. Okay. I go, your wife, bro, is going to leave you if you don't get some of my products. Right. So I go, I'm going to send you one of these kits right here. Right. So I sent him out one today. Right. I said, Brett, put it on, bro. I said, bro, you got to put it on. Okay. Because I'm telling you, you know what I mean? Like your wife deserves you to look a little bit better, bro. I mean, you guys know how it is. Okay. I'm just going to be upfront with you. I was aging at the speed of white. Do you understand what that means? Any of you that are Caucasian, you know what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, white people just wake up one day and they just look old, right? I mean, it's like, boom. You know what I mean? So I was aging at the speed of white. You know what I mean? I said, that's what I said, bro, we're aging at the speed of white, dude. Like, we need to do something about it now. Your wife deserves it. And he's just laughing his butt off. And I said, shoot me your address, bro. I'm going to send you some products. Okay. And I'm telling you, I just don't ever stop. I don't ever stop. I'm going to continue to keep on. Some of my best recruits that I've recruited in this profession throughout my 30-year career, some of them took me 6, 8, 10 years. There's somebody I got started in Riman. It took me, didn't take me 20. Took me 29 years to get them in. So the fortune's in the follow-up. Hello. So let's talk about this. We got 3 months. Who got started 3 months ago? So as a leader, if you want to close the month strong, what do you need to be doing? You want to look at what? Who got started 3 months ago? So 3 months ago today would be what? March. So who got started in March? March, April, May. Okay, because now they have a deadline coming up, right? They don't want that volume. So how do you find that out? Well, we have a Riman back office that teaches us everything that we need to know. So what you do is you go to my team. Okay, so when you log in, you go to my team. Bam. Very simple. Okay, you go to my team. And then what you do is click on that, and then what'll happen? Okay, how do you find out? Boom, this is what happens. You go to my team, you go to new category. See where it says category? You put in what? New planners. And then where it says start date, these dates right here, you change it to what? 3 months ago. And it'll tell you who got started when? 3 months ago. 3 months ago would be what? March. So you go March, what year is it? 2026. You just go March 2026, and then it'll tell you who signed up, right? So this is an older training I made to teach people about back office. So let me show you what happens though. So now everybody's going to show up, right? And you're looking through ID numbers. This is the ID numbers, and you're rolling around, right, to see who got started 3 months ago. And if you go to all ranks, it'll show you everybody. What I like to do is I like to look at all ranks, but before I do that, I look at managers. Why? Because if I'm a manager already, what's it tell me if somebody got started 3 months ago and they've already hit manager? They're a baller, right? They're back. They got it, right? So what I got to do, right? So I changed it all to manager, and I'm looking at these people that are managers, and I'm clicking on them to see how close they are to what? Senior manager, right? And I'm doing it for everybody in the organization. But what I'm going to do now is what? I double click their ID number. Pew, pew. Okay. You guys know what I'm talking about. Double click. Hello. Bingo. This is what's happening. Watch what's going on. And then I'm going to go to line of sponsor. So I just click on a person. The person I clicked on was Monk Tuyun Batyu. She was sponsored by Sharon. right? So I'm going to click on line of sponsor so I can find out who's above her that's like a director, senior manager, right? So then I'm going to look above her and I'm going to look for the first upline director. So I find Leah Lavoie, call the upline team leader director, set up a Zoom with them to rank up. Now, obviously, Leah's she knows what she's doing. She's a director. And now I'm just going to be like, hey, how are we doing with Monk Batzoli? We got to get him dialed in, right? So the person's already a manager. We got to get him to senior manager before what? The end of the month. Very easy to understand what we're doing, okay? Now, who got started within 30 days ago? Who got started 30 days ago? Why is 30 days ago so important? How many days do we have to get a starter kit? We got 30 days, right? So what do? We want to put new planners, and this would be put what month? We're in what month right now? May. No, yeah, so April, right? So we're going to change that to April, and then we're going to hit all, and then we're going to look to what's going on. So double click the ID number to find but what I want to do is I want to get on a Zoom and upgrade them, right? So I'm looking for people that are actively building the business, and I'm looking at these enrollment dates. So I look at basically this person came in, right? If I'm looking at this, let's say I'm looking at this report like today, I'm going to put it in chronological order by double clicking enrollment date. And guess what I'm doing? You're gonna love this. I'm looking for who got started in my organization, right? It would be what? April 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. Last month had 30 days. Now, if last month had 31 days, I'd be looking from the 23rd on. You guys see what we're doing here? We're not just looking at our business going, man, I hope this thing explodes. If you want to learn how to close the month strong, you got to understand, you got to get a little bit organized, right? And look for the people that are going to be the easiest path of least resistance, right? You know, when water is going down a hill, right? You ever seen water going down a hill and it gets to a rock? What does it do? It doesn't negotiate with the rock. What it does, it looks for the path of least resistance and it goes around it. So you just got to find the easiest way for you to be able to get massive volume. And the way to do that is look at people that got started less than 30 days ago. And if they haven't got if they've got one or two or kids, because a lot of people, they'll get started and right now at the end of the month, they got to get their 1,000 SP, right? So if I've got pop-ups, right? If I'm building my business with pop-ups, which everybody should, right? I don't care who you are. If you're not building your business around pop-ups, you're not building your business. You know what I mean? Like, boom, right? Even somebody goes, well, what about, so-and-so who's an online influencer? I'll tell you what they're doing is they're getting people started. But if people that aren't online influencers, they're not like, all right, don't do a pop-up. They're telling everybody do a pop-up because that's how they got started in the profession. And then they built the social media online influence or whatever they did over a long period of time, right? They built their online influence after a while. So what I'm telling you is what? People need products for pop-ups. If you do a pop-up, you got to have products, right? So people are going to want to do what? They want to get their 1,000 SP so they can unlock their unilevel. We'll talk about that later. But what else is happening? They're getting their starter sets before the time runs out. Do you guys see what we're doing? People say, what about UK, right? UK, a lot of people, when they get started, they'll do what? They'll buy their products as a customer so they can get their products right away because they have that 7-day cool-off period. But after the 7 days is over, people can buy sets. So people that got started, right, in your business, you got to pay attention to what's happening. You got to be able to be aware, okay? So let's talk about this, okay? Starters Kit Plus, right here. This is US, but everybody's in the same league. I'm gonna talk about Canada later, don't worry. But it's like the same thing. You look at the SP. Starter Kit Plus, okay, basically has over 1,000 in SP. Starter Kit Premium has what? Very simply over 1,500 SP. So both of those 1,500 and 1,000 SP is going to be enough personal SP to do what? To unlock the unilevel. Now, all we got to do is get 10 lifetime customers. What does that mean? 10 customer accounts. What is a customer account? So let's just say that I have a pop-up at my house, right? Right when I get started, that's all I was doing. And I sell somebody a product, okay? And I sell them the product on the spot, out of my inventory, bam. Now, what do I want to do with that customer? Obviously, they're going to Venmo me the money or Cash App or whatever, Venmo or, every country's got their own thing. They're going to send me the money for the product. What am I going to do? I'm opening up a customer account form, name, email address, and showing them how to log on. So why? So they can order products next time. So when I'm talking to customers, right, I'm going to, when I first got started, it's like, okay, you got to get my 10 lifetime customers ASAP. So I'm calling who? Right? Call my sister saying, hey, look, you know what? I got a product you're going to love. I'll talk to you about it later, but just do me a favor right now and open up a free customer account for me because I'm trying to get a promotion. Boom. You know what I mean? Like that's it. So I get 10 lifetime customers real quick. Name and what? Email address, right? I'm not signing up my dog. I'm not signing up my freaking cat, right? I don't have a cat, but if you have a cat, don't sign your cat up. You're signing up real humans. Okay, don't start that kind of culture, right? It's just gross. Okay, so here you know what I mean? Is signature line starter kit is 300 SP. Does not come with enough personalized speed to unlock your unit level. Doesn't mean you can't unlock your unit level if you get the little 300 point pack, right? If you toe dip, right, and you get that 300 point pack, you're like, okay, so I don't unlock my unit level. No, you just got to go out there and do what, right? Sell a couple of those, right? Sell a couple of signature starter kits, right? Sell some products, whatever, just get to work. And then once you get 1,000 personal volume, boom, you unlock your unit level. You guys, hope everybody's with me on this. Let me slow down my speech because I talk way too fast. But how we start will duplicate. So let me give an example. Let's say that I don't get started with 1,000 SP, or I don't get 1,000 SP, and I don't have my free accounts, right? My lifetime customers. I'm going to get 5% on my level ones. But if I do unlock my uni level and I do get a personal volume of what? 1,000 or higher, what happens? If I've got my 10 customer accounts, instead of getting 5% on level one, I'm getting what? 10%. Instead of getting 0 on my second level as a planner, I'm getting 5%. So would you rather get 5% or triple it and get 15%, right? That's the difference in total payout, right? So that's why everybody, when they get started, they always want to get at least 1,000 point starter set. Now, does everybody do it? Of course not. Doesn't mean that they won't become successful, but it does mean that the people that are not unlocking their unilevel are starting a terrible culture, right? You want to make sure everybody's unlocking their unilevel. So let's talk about it. So if I get started with 1,000 point set and I duplicate that, I find 5 people to want to be able to do the same thing. Now, understand this is training. It's for training purposes to understand it. I'm not giving you income claims. You understand this, okay? I'm not saying, hey, if you get started every month, we're all going to get rich. No, it's not going to happen if you just get started. If you get committed, keep on keeping on, willing to do the work, great things can happen. Okay. But if you just jump in and be like, all right, I'm going to sit back and wait for the money to roll in. No, we got to talk to people, right? Find people to talk to and do what? Talk to them. Bingo. Okay. So if I get started, I'm going to get a rebate of 68. And then I'm going to get, this is the BP here on the package. I'm getting the percentage of that. So I'm getting 445 with the differential in unit level. And then I'm also getting 17 as I duplicate that. So I teach 5 to do the same thing, 5. And then boom, I'm well on my way, right? So this is what I teach people how to do, right? Is make sure you understand. Now, why does everybody want to get at least 1,000 point starter kit, Tim? Well, how you start will duplicate. Meaning if you dip your toe in, your team will do what? They're going to be toe dippers too, okay? So like, give an example. I'm going to give you some different options. No kit at all. Just don't get started with products and just be like, man, I'm going to make this thing happen without products, okay? You're going to have to enroll how many people to do the same thing to be able to get to 6,000. Infinity, right? Now, if I get started with a 300 point package, all I got to do is sponsor 19 people. Now, if I get started with 1,000 point package that do the same thing to get to 6,000, I got to sponsor what? 5. If I get started with a 1,500 point pack, how many do I need? 3. Okay, do you guys see what we're doing? If I get started, let's say I get 2 1,500 point packs, right? If I'm really business minded and I think like an entrepreneur, business people think a little bit different than people that have jobs. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? And as you get started, maybe many of you, this is being an entrepreneur for the first time. And as you become an entrepreneur, you think a little bit more business minded, right? And like for me, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years, right? So when I came in, I'm like, I know the average small business loan in America, according to the Small Business Administration, is how much? How much is the average small business loan, according to the Small Business Administration? Some of you have heard me tell this before because I tell it in every presentation. 450,000. 450,000 US dollars. According to that's what the small business average is, or small business loan averages. 65% of those fell within 5 years. Okay. And the ones that succeed, their average profitability is what? 5 to 7%. If I get started with two 1,500 point sets, my profits out the gates. Now I'm a manager. So on that first initial order, I'm getting paid as a planner. But once that first initial order of 1,500 twice, getting paid as a planner. Now I'm at 3,000. I'm getting paid 20% profit moving forward. When I came in, I got four 1,500 point packs. Some people go, whoa, dude, that's a lot of money. Well, that's what I'm here to make, right? And for me, I'm like not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it from a business standpoint, right? I'm looking at it as a commitment because I'm like, bam, now I'm going to start profiting 30% out of the gate. You see how smart that is? I want to make as much as I can as fast as I can, right? So how you get started is going to duplicate. Okay. So we got to make sure, obviously, we get everybody started with 1,000 points set or more. How do we find out who got started this month? Okay. So when you get started and you log in your Riman back office, there's going to be a blue highlighted number. What is that number? That's the new planners that have signed up this month. Okay. What do? See how it's underlined? You click on it. You click on that number, and then it's going to bring you up your team. You guys see what's happening? So now your team's going to come up, and what do? Same thing. You go to this report, and then you go where it'll say personal orders, personal customers, and then it's going to say what? Personal volume. So now I'm going through here, and I'm looking for what? Whose personal volume is not at 1,000 yet. Why do I want to do that? Because I'm going to help them upgrade. Okay. Now, if they're past their 30 days, these people are all new, but if they're past their 30 days, they can still they can order products. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do though is this. I'm looking at that doesn't have their 1,000 SP, that's close, that's doing something. And I'm going to connect on a Zoom with them and help upgrade them, right? With their upline and them. If you see a lot of people, if I see a lot of people joining without 1,000 point sets, I know that those people that are getting started don't understand the compensation plan. You understand? Like if you got a lot of people join your team that are not getting started with 1,000 point sets, what does that tell you? You probably don't understand the compensation plan very well, because most people would rather make, 10% as opposed to what? 5%. They would rather make 5% on their second level as opposed to 0%, right? It's kind of no brainer. So I just got to explain to them the comp plan, make sure they get it, right? So let's talk a little bit about how smart this is, okay? What manager, senior managers get their 3 active customers, and team leader or higher needs to get their what? 5 active customers. Now, planners don't need this. If you just become a manager this month, you don't need it the month you hit. If you just became a senior manager this month, you don't need it. Make sure you know that. But what? If I was a senior manager last month and I'm a senior manager this month, I've got to get my what? 3 actives. So I was a manager last month to be able to get pay release. Now, time out for a second. That money does not go away. So just say, for instance, right, somebody wasn't paying attention. Maybe they were on vacation. Maybe they weren't working the business this month, and they didn't get their 3 active customers. That money will accrue to the following month. You guys see that? There's no breakage. It's not like the company's like, we're going to take that, right? So understand this, okay? Who needs their 3 or 5? Okay, so how do I figure that out? I'm going to log in, and I'm looking at my top people, right? I start off with the top producers, right? So I'm going to start with the top producers on that report, and I'm going to make sure they have their active customers, right? So I go down to this person, and he's got 9. He's got 12, but 9 new ones. He's good, right? He's got his actives. So I have to make sure if they have their personal volume, they also have their 3 actives. And this is how I find that out. Okay. This is how I find that out, is I look at everybody's snapshot. Okay. And how do I do that? Click on that. Look at that. Very easy to do. Let's talk about another one. Who's running for team leader higher? Remember, team leader is a great one. Now, senior manager rank advancements happen daily. Okay. So if somebody gets started right now and you hit senior manager right now, from that point moving forward, you're getting paid right away as a senior manager. Team leader is once a month. So I've got to make sure, this is why we close. I'm showing you how we do what? Close the month what? Strong. So I'm looking for people. Okay. I put February on there twice. Good job, buddy. Okay. February, March, April. This is all messed up. Okay. That should be what? January, February, March, April, May. Okay. So make sure you understand that first one is January. I didn't change the calendar. Somebody's like, we're looking at this going, wow, how did he do it? How did he do it? How did he double dip on February's? That's the reason why Tim's having success, is because he's found a way to double dip on February. No, I didn't. Okay. It's supposed to say January. Okay. I just put this training together like minutes ago. Okay. So January, February, March, April, May. That's 5 what? Months. Okay. Now, if somebody in May, they don't rank advance, then what happens is February, March, April, May, June is going to count. That'll be their 5 months. And whatever they did in January over here will roll off. So there's an incentive to do what? Find out who's close to what? Team leader. We got to make sure we're aware of that. Okay. How I look usually is I look for my top senior managers. Okay. I look at my top senior managers and I'm like, who's doing 35, 40, 50,000 a month as a senior manager? I'm making sure that if they're a top producer as a senior manager, what does that tell me? They probably have the volume. I got to make sure they have the what? The structure, the 3 senior manager legs. Okay. How do you become a team leader? Right. You guys all know 50,000 within a 5 rolling month period. And the structure wise is 3 individual legs with a senior manager in it. Does not have to be frontline. Okay. You guys all get it. Are there any team leaders that need their 10,000 monthly maintenance, right? A team leader, you want to have a maintenance. Why is this important? Because you don't want people to hit a position and walk around and be, I am a team leader, and they're making not any money because they're not doing any volume. So you want team leaders to do something, mainly because of the matching bonus. If you have a team leader building their business and they have a huge organization, they're going to be blocking you from a level if you're committed. So you want to make sure that this is why it's so important. When I got started, I'm like, why do we do that? Why is that? And then now that I've been in Riman now for 2 years and a few months, I'm like, that's the smartest thing, because at least team leaders are going to make something, right? Because if you lower the minimum, right, what happens? The majority of people are going to go lower, because people do what? Most people, they make their minimums or they make their minimums or maximums. You never want to make your minimums or maximums, right? You always want to do more, okay? Obviously. So I go to top producers, and I usually will obviously click on team leaders. This one's the arrows point at manager, but see how close they are. So I go on there and I'll dig around in my organization to where we're right around 10,000. So these are the people that are at 9,800, like 97, 95, 93, 99. I got to make sure these people are on it, right? Because they're going to miss out on making team leader pay, right? So I get them all their what? 10,000 a month. Now realize if you're doing 50,000 over a 5-month period, what's that? 10,000 a month. You understand what I'm saying? So they're already should be doing it. But what I do is if somebody's like 1,000 away or 500 away, I'm explaining to them, look, you're going to need products next month. Okay. You're going to need products. So you're going to get 40 to 50% return, depending on how much personal volume you have. You're getting a 40 to 50% return on what you buy in the form of a rebate, right? So I'm like, wait a second, what's going to be higher? What you put in or what you get back? You understand? You're going to need the products anyways. Like these products, I got way more than this coming. This is just the beginning. My first little shipment came in today, and it's like, these will be gone next week, right? It's like, boom. Like I get these things out. I get the products on people's faces. That's how I recruit people, right? So I use the products to bring me in recruits, okay? Or I'll give them out. If you buy a $300 set, right? Typically, I'm not going to give them a whole one of those. I'll usually give them like a free X cream. If you buy a 300-point set from me, I'm going to give you a free X cream. If you buy it, that's kind of what I do. I incentivize people as customers to want to buy from me. You guys see how smart that is? So that's another way you could do it. You get all the customers you have, follow with everybody, and that can help push you to that 10,000 mark. Okay, very easy, amazing. Okay, great advice, Tim. Thank you. Now, who needs to unlock their unit level? How do I find that out? 1,010 of free accounts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to my team. Remember how to find the my team report. And I'm going to, this is how I can find out if they've unlocked the unit. I'm going to all categories, all countries, rank team leader. Okay, this is how I find out they need to do their 1,000. And I'm looking and put it on this month. And then what I'm doing is I'm looking at personal volume. I'm going to put it in order, and I'm looking at who's got what. And anybody that's at like 8, 8.4, 8.5 or whatever, I'm panicking. Why? Because I've got to make sure they what? Get their 1,000, right? So they can unlock that unit level. Why? Because they're going to get an extra 22% payout, but their upline leaders above them, there's another 85% payout in what? Matching bonus. So 22% plus 85%, which is over 40.7% of the pay is just in the unit level. People don't realize how much money we pay on unit level. Okay, so because they just think of, oh, this is what team leaders are just getting 22%. Yeah, don't forget that every team for 8 generations above of leadership, 85% match bonus is getting paid out on that. So you want to make sure you create a culture. Okay, so if I see a team leader close, our team leader that's not doing it, every team leader does it. I don't have very many team leaders because we don't tolerate leaving money on the table. You guys see what I'm saying? We make sure we pick up every penny. But go and I'll look and I'll do a Zoom with them or send it to their upline director to make sure that they're on it, to make sure that we get these people their 1,000 SP, because their uplines all want them to do it too. Why? Because if 22% is paid out, because it's 55333, right? It's 22%. There's another, what, 18.7% paid out on top of that. Everybody wants to make sure that money's paid out. I just want to get money flying to my team, right? How do I do that? Pay attention, okay? Now, you guys all know how the unilevel works. All these numbers right here, the 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, 333, 555, 333. This is all the unilevel. You guys see that? This is all the what? This is the unilevel pay. We always want to pick up every penny. If like my mentor said, if there's 50 bucks on the ground and 100 bucks on the ground, which one do you pick up? Both, right? I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? So take all the money, right? So in bidding events drive success, I'm giving you guys the details on how to maximize the pay plan. Who's close to the top retailer bonus, right? The 2,000, da 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 da. And you look and you just go through the organization and you look at the personal volume, okay? So that's very simple. What other promotions are coming up? US and Canada has this launching. So this is not going to be at the end of the month. It's going to be at the 25th of the month, okay? But from 9 a.m. Pacific to 11:59 Pacific, there's a Memorial Day special happening, right? Now, some of you are like, oh, I'm not in the US. Let's go sponsor some people in the US. You're allowed to build your business anywhere. So guess what? Free shipping states. You know what I mean? Sorry about that. I got to reboot. You guys, free shipping site-wide, okay? No minimum orders. That's big, right? 2 times the reward points. That's big. That means basically 10% back of whatever they buy off their next purchase instead of typically 5. 2 times the travel points. Double dipping on the travel points. That's for the person obviously gets the customer. Now look at this. If somebody gets $250 worth of US or $346 in Canada, they're going to unlock one of the freebies there. So you got a water bottle, you got the ICD Turkish towel, you got the phase 1 oil mist, you got the calming gel, my favorite product, dessert to the hair oils. Ooh, the hair oils, remember, I love that. Or a Riman jewelry box. Dang. Okay, those are your options. But if you spend $399 or $554, and you're going to be able to get what? 2 items. So it's a fun promotion. We ran this last Memorial Day. It was really good for us. We did an extra like 1 million in sales. It was a powerful promotion. Our group had a lot of success. This year we're a lot bigger. I think we're going to have a better. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. So that's for US and Canada. Memorial Day is kind of something that we're doing over here. So let's talk about the fast start right now. These are the promotions happening right now in the US. Now, if you get 3,000 SP within a 7-day period, you're getting 250 cash, 60 travel points. So that's 3 times what you're normally getting. Okay. If you get $100, if you do it within 30 days, and you're getting 40 points, which is double the travel points. Now, guess what? If you hit senior manager in 7 days, you're getting $500 cash bonus, plus you're doing what? 150 travel points. If you do it in 30 days, it's $250 cash bonus and what? 100 travel points. So they're usually for hitting senior manager getting 50, originally for for manager getting 20. You see what's going on? Right? Everybody's winning. I love this bonus, right? This is the best bonus, but you've got to have a May start date. So at the end of the month, you're going to see a lot of people signing up. Now, if you build in UK, theirs is not 7 days, it's 14 days from their start date. So if somebody gets started, they got 14 days there. Why? Because there's a 7-day cool-off period. It's a law in that country, okay? So just so you all know, okay, very powerful. There's going to be we've already popped way more senior managers than we ever have with this promotion. This in May, this is going on. So this is happening right now. Don't miss out because it will be going away come June 1st. Okay, this is a big promotion. Free enrollment. We've never done this before. Free enrollment when you get a starter set, right? So that's also cool for people that are doing that. Most people already get a starter set. So I don't even say the $20. I just say when you get started, what it costs to open your business is now waived. They're waiving that if you get a starter kit, right? Because $20 is low. A lot of companies cost a lot more than $20 to get in. But Riman wants people to do what? Obviously get products, because that's where you're going to be able to change your face, change your finances. Okay. Use talk demo. Let's go. So here we go. Another one. And that's available for anybody. Anybody, if you are a new manager this month or a new senior manager this month. Okay. So if you're a manager and you hit senior manager, bam, you're getting this back. And this is for North America and Latin America. Okay. So it's a little swag promotion that we have. Super fun. You know, it looks like that Trader Joe's bag, right? That people are fighting each other in the parking lot to get at Trader Joe's. Some of you are like, we don't have a Trader Joe's where I live. Okay. Do some research. California's got them. They're crazy. But this is a real cool bag. Only time that you can get it. Only way you can't buy it. It's an exclusive item. Once this is gone, it's gone. So you're never going to be able to get a chance to be able to get this, okay? Or unless you hit manager, senior manager. You see how smart that is? Let's make it happen, okay? Now, let's talk a little bit about Bahamas. Now, we all know UK and Europe, all of Europe, Spain, Italy, Ireland, everybody, they're going to Monte Carlo, right? Everybody in Asia is going to what? Thailand. So ID Cup, right? Bam, we're doing it, okay? So basically what happens is the qualification periods are basically for Europe and Asia, it started January. Not for US, North American markets, it started February, okay? And the reason being is because we had still qualifications going on for Costa Rica that everybody's going to go to in a couple days, right? Boom. All North American and North American planners, regardless of rank, okay? It doesn't matter what your rank is, okay? But here's how it works. If you hit manager, bing, 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 you get 20 travel points. Obviously, we have a fast start right now where you can get more. If you hit senior manager, you get what, 50? Team leader getting 200, director getting 500, senior director 750, and national director, I just did national director. That'd be smarter. I'm telling you, you're going to, if you do that, you'd be more pumped. But it's up to you. 30 travel points when you sponsor somebody that becomes a senior manager. So every time you sponsor people, remember, we're allowed to sponsor as many people as we want. Woo! I love that, okay? Now, retail orders, every 100 SP that somebody buys up to 500, right? Meaning that 500 SP per one customer, because you're going to get 5 travel points per is the max. So basically one travel point every time you get 100 SP, okay? And from one customer, you can get it. So what that means is per order. Performance. Now this is where magic happens. If you're a team leader, and if you're not a team leader, I'm going to be doing a training next week. I'm doing a training next week on how to become a team leader before the Vegas convention. I'm getting excited already, okay? So open group performance. Okay, this is big. 40 travel points for every 10,000 volume you do. So if you do 20,000, you get what? 80. If you do 100,000, you get what? 400, right? Yeah, of course. Now, if you're a director, and directors can do both, because you can do open line team leader and director open line. Every director that does every 100,000 that you do, you're going to get 100 travel points. So if you do, 500,000 in volume, you're going to get 500 travel points for the month, right? I encourage people to do more volume than less, because number one, your people are making more money. That's why it's always a good idea to do more volume. Somebody goes, well, I don't like doing that much volume. I'm not going to work that hard. You should just go ahead and do it. I just like to do it. It's better, because if you're doing more volume, that means more money's getting paid out to your team. Why would you want to do less when you could do more? We're allowed to talk to as many people as we want. Did you see what I'm saying? That's the cool thing about it. We're allowed, there's no limit to how many people we're allowed to talk to a day. I love this business, okay? Now, understand there's special things that are happening throughout the course of the year that we have, like extra travel points, convention packages, special packages that happen throughout. Like we're getting on that Memorial Day special, boom, making it happen. So there's things that we do. Okay, let's get through this. 1,000 points get you a trip for one. Tier 2 is a tier 1. Tier 1, a trip for one. I'm sorry about that. 1,000. Tier 2 is 1,500. A trip for one plus 500 reimbursement. Now 3,000. Tier 3. I'm sorry, is 25. 2.5 travel points. 2.5 thousand travel points get you airfare reimbursement of 1,000, okay, and 2 guests. And then basically, if you get 3,000 travel points, it's such a good idea to do this. You're going to get a trip for 2, okay? You know what I mean? I love this. So you participant plus a guest plus 2,000 in what? $2,000 airfare reimbursement. This is beautiful, okay? So let's talk about how to become successful. This is a big thing that's happening right now, okay? Everybody understands that, okay? So here's what's going on. Any volume that gets started in May, that's why everybody, this is another major reason. If I sign somebody up or I make an order on, or let's say I buy products or do something on June 1st, I'm not getting paid on that order until the following month, right? So any volume that comes in this month is going to be paid out. Now, there are some pays that some of the pays are, there's this, some commissions come out early, right? But basically everything is paid out by the 15th of the following month. So anybody that gets orders in now, that volume is going to count for this month. So everybody's running hard to become a senior manager or manager. Now, obviously, we all know and pinning events, they drive success. So this is big right here. Okay. We want to make sure we understand Sunday, 11:59, May 31st, and it's on Pacific time. So if you live in another country, yours is going like Asia, it's going to be the next day. You see what's going on here? So let's create urgency. Okay. Let's do this. Create some urgency. And I'm going to wrap this training up. Okay. I'm not going to talk about this too much. We want to be able to create the right culture. Basically, we want to, establish once a culture is established, it's hard to change. It's easy to create with new teams. What we do, we'll duplicate, right? So basically, if you hit senior manager on the today or manager on the end of the month frenzy, right? 23, you're going to get paid as a manager, senior manager, all on that volume. But if you wait to senior manager on the 31st, you're not going to get paid as a senior manager until what? After you hit. So all that crazy volume that everybody does, you're going to miss out on. So we've got to make sure we understand that we've got to take action. Don't wait till the end of the month. Everybody hits senior manager by the end of the month. Everybody does it. All right. Everybody hits manager. Everybody runs at the end of the month like crazy. And I'm like, I look at these people, I'm like, why didn't you run earlier? Run earlier so then you get paid on it all. Okay. Because most people are not going to do what, the 1% do, right? Or the 5% do. You know what I mean? You want to be part of the 5%, part of the 1%. And how do you do that? Take action now. Okay. So you don't want to wait. Okay. So this is what we're looking to do. Like if you want to learn how to be a team leader, you only need 3 legs. But even once you hit team leader, you want to get your 10 legs. Okay, this is how you make the biggest money. You get 10 legs as senior managers, you have a solid team leader foundation. You build wide for profitability, you build depth for stability, right? Everybody knows this. Are you there? Or do you want to get a pin or a paycheck? Hello. Do you guys see how smart that is? All right, a little pin that says I'm a team leader, or do you want to get a fat check? Build 10. If you can build 3, you can build 6 because it's the same work. You build 6, you can build 9. If you build 9, you can build, 12, whatever, 11. It's up to you. It's all in your mind. Like we're allowed to have as many legs as we want. Okay. Team leaders, I tell my directors, look, you want to have 10 legs of team leaders. This is how you make the big boy money, big fat checks as a director. Okay. So let's get into it. Once again, the minimums are not that. The minimums are 3 and 3, but I don't teach that because why? I like people making money. Do you guys see how smart that is? How you start will duplicate. Let's get into this. Okay. So if I get started with the 300 point set, basically what happens is I need to sign up 19 planners at 300 to equal 6,000 PP. Do you guys see that? So in Canada, it's in Canadian currency, US is in US currency, everybody's doing it in their currency. Now, the starter kit plus, I'm going to need, if I get started with a 1,000 point set, people are going to do what I do. How you start will duplicate. Now, I'm going to need only 5 people to hit senior manager. So I'm going to start creating senior managers faster. This is Canadian and the US one, right? So you see how smart that is. Now look at this. If I get started with a 1,500 point set, guess what happens? This is big. I only need 3 people. Do you guys see what's going on? So a lot of people, when they get started with a 1,500 point sets or more because they know however they start will duplicate, right? Everybody's going to do what you do, not what you say. Okay. Now, some people economically aren't doing that well, but what I do when I got started, when I saw this, I was like, wait a second, this is no brainer for me, but this is not for everybody, right? When I got started, I got 4, but people need to be aware of it. Like if you don't know this exists, you might be like, I didn't know that. It's not for most people, but you're going to find entrepreneurs. You're going to find people that own salons. You're going to find people that own big businesses, right? And they can move a lot of products fast, right? So basically from 0 SP to 3,000 SP, you're getting paid as a planner, which is what? On your personal volume, which is 10%. Once you hit 3,000, you're now a what? Manager. Now you're making what? 20% on the BP. Do you guys see that? So basically what happens is it's going to look something like this, 202, 404. Okay, now watch. This is something that is unbelievable, okay? Now, if I get started, this is only available this month because of the fast start bonus, but watch. If I get started this month, this happens any month. If I skip planner and I start at senior manager, they're going to give me manager pay on that whole transaction. So instead of making 202 and 404, I'm going to make 404 plus 404. So I'm going to make 808. Plus, I'm going to get the $500 fast start bonus. So I'm going to make $1,308 on rebates and fast starts. Plus, every 1,500 point pack comes with $316 of the free product. Okay. So I'm going to get $1,264 of the free product. Let me explain this. Look, I know you got to be aware of this because you're going to talk to business owners. You're going to talk to people that are professionals. Okay. So I take that. That's $1,264. Okay. So basically what happens is this. I take my rebate, which is $1,308. My rebate and my what? Fast start bonus. That's $1,308. Plus, I'm going to get $1,264 of the free product. That's $2,572 in total value that I'm getting. You guys see that? Six in the U.S. A starter set is now this in Canadian currency. You translate it into Canadian currency. You understand what I'm saying? People in Canada are like, products cost more here. Yeah, but you make more money, knucklehead. Like it's all the same. It's not. It's the currency difference. When you take your money out, you're making the same in the actual same thing. It's just a different country, right? So people are like, it's currency. You got like I'm not a currency guy. I don't control that stuff. But here it is. In America, a total out the door starter set, right, is going to be 1688 times 4, 16, a set 7, right? Okay, $6,752. Minus what I get back with free product credit rebates and fast starts is going to be 2572. So basically, out of my pocket, the way I look at it is 4180. And I'm starting as a senior manager. And I'm making what? I'm making 30% on all the on the business points right out the gates. Okay, so instant rank advancement, SB rebate. That's obviously the rebate. You know, if we hit senior manager with personal volume in one calendar day, it has to be within one day though. If you do this, it's got to be one day. Now, if you've already got like 500 points and you do it, a transaction to get to 6,000 on that bigger transaction, you're going to get manager pay, right? But not on that 500 that you did before or whatever, right? So basically, but if you hit manager in one day, 11:59 is always the cutoff, right? What happens? You're going to leap past planner, right? We get the manager pay on the whole transaction. You're not going to get the planner pay. You're not going to get that 202, right? Plus, we start earning senior manager pay after the fact. So once I hit that 6,000, next thing I do, I'm getting senior manager pay, right? So this is why a lot of people are business minded. Some people economically aren't in a situation where they can do that. So don't feel bad about it, but know about it, because when you talk to business owners, you want to bring it up to them, right? So if you obviously, I talked about this, but ordering 4 premium sets at 6,000 SP, right? Or you can order it as a customer if you're like certain stuff. So like people are like I just talked to a business owner that just wants to sell, they just want to sell the X-Line set. So they bought it as a customer, right? So they could just pick and choose what they wanted to have, right? So kind of a no-brainer, right? So basically, please do not think of doing this unless you're going to sell the products. Please, oh my God. Like if you don't know how to sell these products and you're just brand new and you've never been in type of sales, this is not for you. Don't do it. But if you have a small business, or like me, I've been in direct selling for 30 years. I knew I was going to move the products, right? No brainer. It was something that made sense for me to be able to do, right? Now, know the difference in pay. I'm not going to talk much about this, but this is, if I'm a planner and I get 4,000 in customer BP, obviously after 3,000, I'm a hit manager, but I'm just giving an example. And I'm at 10% of that BP, I'm making $400 in income. If I'm a manager and I get 4,000 in BP, right, that's going to unlock the top retail bonus too as well, right? Most likely, right? There's a way that I could not get it, but basically it's going to put you in a position to be able to do that. I'm at 20% plus 10%. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to get your active customer count and there's rules at top retailer bonus. I can explain it to you on another time, or look on one of my, we can go through a compensation plan call, but 20% plus 10%, obviously you're making 1,200, senior manager, same thing, 1,600, team leader, 2,000. So you're going to get paid more, right? Everybody knows that. So you want to get promoted as fast as possible. This is everybody knows this example. This is a hypothetical example, right? But you're also getting differential on this. So if you build a team of 3 to get 3 to get 3 to get 3, and you're going to need, it's not going to work like that. You understand that? Some people will bring in you 103, some people will bring in 0, right? It depends on how motivated they are. But basically your BP per planner would be, if it's that, hypothetically, you'd make it 33,000 and so forth and so on. So just know that you want to build this thing big. Leadership matching bonus is huge, right? That's the biggest percentage of payout. Let me give you an example. If you built 5 generation 1 team leaders that were averaging 10,000 in income, and you're making 40% of that, that's 20,000 in income. Okay. Now people are like, how do you get 5 team leaders making that much money? Help them make a lot of money. Do you guys get what I'm saying? That's what I do, right? If my team leaders, I've got, Chris and I have got what, 8? We got six legs of senior directors, right? So it's like you can build this thing as big as you want, right? There's no limit, okay? It's all limitations between your ears, and it takes time, takes effort, takes energy, right? But this is a hypothetical example. It's going to depend on your work ethic. But in generation 2, you duplicated that out. Maybe it took you 10 years to do this, right? 20 years to do this. I don't know, 5 years. I don't know. But what happens is if you build this organization like this, this is like 195,000 in income. This is not normal. You understand that? But you have to look at what's possible. This is a hypothetical example. Okay. At Boomers, where I worked at the go-kart track, what was the best possible case scenario for me? get hit by a go-kart, right? I worked on a go-kart track. If I got hit by a go-kart, maybe sue the company, right? I mean, that was it. There was nothing good that could happen there. So the fact that things like this are possible, they're not probable, they're possible, but you can do it, but not everybody will. So there's a difference between can and will or won't, right? You know what I mean? So, but I just like to see, like, this is kind of like the way I look at it. Your team leader commissions are going to be like this. Your unit level is going to grow like this, and your matching bonus is going to go like this, right? So it's super fun. Break down your goals. I'm not going to get into this tonight, but just know, you want to break things down, and you can force the activity, which will drive the productivity. You control activity, you don't control productivity, but activity will drive the productivity. Activity meaning what? Find people to talk to and what? Talk to them. You guys see how smart that is? So break down your goals. It's no brainer, but I'm not going to get into it today. Okay. Because right now, all we got to focus on is making it happen. Okay. And basically, I'm not going to talk too much about follow up and persistence. Okay. A lot of you guys have seen me train on different topics before. I wanted to talk about closing the month out big. You got to be persistent if you want to be successful. You got to stay on track. If you stay on track over a 90-day period, your organization is going to grow. You'll be putting in a certain amount of effort, but you're going to be getting a multiple reward. Why? Why would you do that, Tim? Why would you get a multiple reward on a consistent effort? Because you're leveraging time, right? You and I can only work 168 hours a week. Now, obviously, I'm not doing that. I have to sleep and eat and obviously function. But I'm telling you, if I can build an organization of 1,000 people that are working 10 hours a week, how many hours am I getting paid on? It's 10,000 hours, right? If I build an organization of 100 people working 10 hours a week, what is that? 1,000 hours. So you can build a distribution channel, and you can multiply your rewards and your results off of your effort. But you got to stay consistent, because if you don't stay consistent, what happens is you just get going and you're fired up for 5 minutes and you get off track, and then boom, right? Boom, right? You got a black eye over there. Make sure you stay persistent, right? So basically, I just want to tell you that today, that we wanted to share with you enough information for you to be able to say, look, you know what? I got a better understanding of what's happening, Tim. I get it, right? It's all about massive action. It's all about doing what? Finding people to talk to and doing what? Talking to them, right? So the time is now. Let's go after it like never before. Make a commitment in your mind. Let's make a commitment in our heart that says, this is it. This is my time to make it happen. This is my time to go all out. I'm going to give it everything that I got. This is my time. This is my chance. I'm not going to let this window of opportunity. Guess what? I'm not letting it slip through my fingertips. This is it, right? Let's go for it, right? Why not? Why live life in a corner? We're allowed to talk to many people as we want. Our lips are paid for. Let's start flapping them, right? Let's start flapping our lips like crazy. And don't be afraid if somebody says no. Let's be afraid if we don't talk to somebody. You know what I mean? What if I don't talk to that person? Right? I'm just scared if I don't talk to somebody, and then, man, they're going to be mad at me, right? So let's make a commitment. Let's go all out. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Let's make it happen. Let's close this month harder, stronger than ever before. God bless you. Thanks for joining us tonight. Next Friday, I'm going to be training on something special. What is it? How to become a team leader before when? Before Vegas, baby. I love you guys. It's crazy.